Attention! Tribunal.
I would just like to call the attention of the tribunal. His successor, designate, was first the defendant Goering. It was first the defendant Hess, and subsequently the defendant Goering. In 1945, the chef of the Parteikanzlei, I should have said, if your honors please, was Martin Bormann, the defendant in this proceeding. And before him, and until his flight to England in 1941, the defendant Rudolf Hess. It was the duty of the Reichsleitung to make certain that the tasks assigned to it by the Führer were carried out with expedition and without interruption. I would like to make some brief comments on this chart. First of all, we refer to the Reichsregierung, which is the big box in the center of the chart on the vertical line directly below Hitler. The Reichsregierung is a word that may not be translated literally as government of the Reich. The word Reichsregierung is a word of art. Now, on January 30th, 1933, the date that the Führer became Reichschancellor, there were few National Socialists that were cabinet members. But as the power of the party in the Reich grew, the cabinet came to include an ever-increasing number of Nazis until by January 1937, no non-party member remained in the Reichsregierung. Only one cabinet member had the strength of character to reject membership in the party, and that of delegate for the 4-year plan. Himmler, the notorious head of the SS, the Reichsführer SS, was also the chief of the German police. Reporting to the defendant Frick.
Court will no doubt recollect that the National Socialist Party had its origin in the German Labor Party, which was founded on the 5th of January 1919 in Munich. It was this organization which Hitler joined as 7th member on the 12th of September 1919, frequently referred to as the NSDAP, or Nazi Party. It is under that name that the Nazi Party continued to exist until its dissolution after the collapse and unconditional surrender of Germany in 1945. The disagreements and intrigues within the party between Hitler's followers and those who opposed him were finally resolved on the 29th of July, 1921, when Hitler became first chairman and was invested with extraordinary powers. He needed as living space by the racial Germans so incorporated, all at the expense of neighboring and other countries. In speaking of the first aim, Hitler made an admission which applied equally to the other aims, namely that he had stated and written 1,000 times or more that he demanded the abolition of the Versailles Treaty. Moreover, these conspirators again and again publicly announced to the still unbelieving world that they proposed to accomplish these objectives by any means found opportune, including illegal means and resort to threat of force and aggressive war. The use of force was distinctly sanctioned, in fact, guaranteed by official statements and directives of the conspirators, which made activism and aggressiveness a political quality obligatory for party members. The party manual also provides that the political leader is inseparably tied to the ideology and the organization of the NSDAP. Illustrations of the Führerprinzip and its application to the party, the state, and allied organizations are fully set forth in the brief and accompanying documents which will be offered in evidence. The third doctrine or technique employed by the Nazi conspirators to make the German people amenable to their will and aims was the doctrine that war was a noble and necessary activity of Germans. We now come to what might be called the third case history, the persecution of the Jews. The Nazi conspirators adopted and publicized a program of ruthless persecution of Jews. It is not our purpose at this time to present to the court a full and complete story in all its sickening details of the Nazi conspirators' plans and acts for the elimination and liquidation of the Jewish population of Europe.